Well, hello. It's already 2:05, which means it's time to start our monthly self-sufficiency partner meeting. And I want to welcome our partners and staff around the state to this information session. And so we do want to have discussion. Please feel free to raise your hand or put questions in the chat, and we will respond as well as we can. So I should introduce myself. I am James Barta. I am subbing as your facilitator today, but I am the Engagement Strategies Coordinator with the Oregon Eligibility Partnership. And I want to ask all of you to also introduce yourself in the chat. And here I'm even model good behavior because I was smart enough to type it out ahead of time. But go ahead and put your name, pronouns, organization, your role in the chat. And again, welcome to this space. And I don't, we have ASL translation and um, all sorts of wonderful things that hopefully make this meeting as accessible to everyone. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to turn it over to our regular facilitator, but who is presenting this month. It's Catherine Garland. Talk about the summer EBT program.
Thank you, James. Yes, I was uh, a little picky this time around, saying if I'm presenting, I don't want to facilitate because it's too much of my brain to handle at once. So thank you so much, James, for assisting me in that. Yeah, I will be presenting on the Summer EBT 2025 program, which I can hardly believe we've just launched outreach for that program again. It feels like we were just closing up 2024. And I wanted to just draw attention that after I present, we will have Renee Baker, who I think is already on the call here. Yes, presenting about the statewide rent well program. So stick around. We have some great stuff for you today. All right, enough talking about that. Let me figure out how to share my screen. Okay, there we go. James, I see your face. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, right on. All right, so summer EBT. So for those who were here, I think in January, which again doesn't feel that long ago, I was presenting about the wrap up for the 2024 program. Here we are, just the beginning of April, we launched the 2025 um, outreach program for summer EBT just last week. We made a game plan for around spring break to start talking about summer EBT, and you all are one of our first presentations. So thank you for allowing me the space and excited to share a little more with you. So a little bit of a refresher for those who were here a few months ago. Summer EBT, it's an annual grocery benefit program. The purpose is to help families buy food for their school-age children during the summer months when school is out. So it is a permanent program. We are just now entering into our second permanent year. We've ironed out some of the bugs and excited to help hopefully serve even more children this year. Who is eligible. It's for school-age children who are participating in SNAP, TANF, OHP, or Medicaid, who are experiencing homelessness, or who are in foster care. Those are groups who are automatically enrolled into the program, meaning they will receive summer EBT and do not need to apply for it. Those who do not meet those qualifiers, and I actually should draw attention to those asterisks, there are a couple nuances with that automatic eligibility. It's families who are who receive SNAP in more than a $0 amount. That seems a little silly, but the reason why we note that is there are families who are eligible for SNAP, but because their income is at a certain level, they qualify at a $0 amount, meaning they don't get the EBT SNAP benefits, but they're able to participate in other public assistance programs simply by being approved for SNAP. So for summer EBT automatic eligibility, their SNAP allotment does need to be more than that $0 amount. And then for OHP, the asterisk on that is just indicating that families who are enrolled in the Oregon Health Plan in a plan that is below 185% of the federal poverty level. So there are OHP programs where eligibility is above that amount. They wouldn't qualify for automatic enrollment, but for families who are on a plan within the Oregon Health Plan under 185% would be automatically enrolled. For other families, they can apply by application, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And just a little bit of historical information. In our first year, this last year, 2024, we were able to issue summer EPT benefits to just over 361,000 children in Oregon. And that brought in just over 43 million in grocery benefits that families spent in their communities. So was able to make quite the impact in that first year. Our goal this year, just to note, our goal is to issue benefits to 370,000 children this year. So we're upping the ante a bit. We're upping the goal, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So a little bit more information about the 2024 program. So the breakdown of that just over 361,000 children who received in 2024, you'll see that 354,548 children received summer EBT automatically, or we also call it through streamlined eligibility. So received it automatically. And then just under 7,500 children received summer EBT by applying in an approved application in 2024. The breakdown, kind of a population density of who received the benefit, just under 50%, 47.6% of children were living in urban areas across Oregon, 34.9% live in metro areas, and then 17.4% who received lived in rural areas across Oregon. And then I thought that this stat is particularly interesting to me. Last year, 42.6% of all children attending school in Oregon received summer EBT in 2024. So it's making quite an impact, especially for those children who do rely on free or reduced price meals during the school year. Summer EBT really does benefit those children during the summertime. And then some statistics or information about summer EBT in general. So summer EBT provides a one-time EBT benefit of $120 for each eligible child in the home. That is placed onto an Oregon EBT card, just like SNAP. Unlike SNAP, though, summer EBT benefits do have a quicker expiration date. They do expire if unused after 122 days. How we try to help that along for families is that if a family receives SNAP and summer EBT on the same Oregon EBT card, when they go to the grocery store to utilize their benefits, the system is smart enough, the EBT card readers are smart enough to know to extract the summer EBT benefits first before the SNAP benefits because of that faster timeline of expiration. So 122 days after the benefits are issued, they will expire if unused. And then information about dates. So school-age children who are found to be automatically eligible for summer EBT this year will receive benefits on, drum roll please, May 23rd, 2025. I think that might be the first time I've said it out loud in an external or public space. So we are excited to share that that is coming up. We're about 6 weeks away, maybe a little less than 6 weeks away from initial issuance. So that's exciting, coming up quick. As I mentioned, those benefits are issued in a one-time EBT benefit onto an Oregon EBT card. If this year is the first year that a family is approved for summer EBT benefits, a new card will be mailed to them. And if a family has misplaced their EBT card last year and they need a replacement for any reason, I've included the EBT card replacement line there for families to call and gain that new card. All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about automatic eligibility. So, who is eligible? Who can receive these benefits automatically? We touched on it a bit ago. We'll go into a little bit more depth here. So if a family received SNAP, again, over that $0 allotment, TANF or Oregon Health Plan with in a program that is below the 185% of the federal poverty level, they will receive that automatically on May 23rd. And if their children, school-age children, attend a school that offers the National School Lunch Program, also known as NSLP, or the School Breakfast Program, also known as SBP, and their household meets the income requirements for free reduced price meals, they would receive it automatically. If their child was in foster care at any point during the 2024-25 school year this year, they would automatically receive it. And then if a child attends a school, again, that offers NSLP or SBP and is determined by the school to be enrolled in migrant programs, determined by the school to be experiencing houselessness, is participating in the food distribution program on Indian reservations, or is attending a Head Start that also participates in the NSLP or SBP programs, such a mouthful, they would automatically receive summer EBT this year. So to put it in perspective, our goal this year is to issue benefits to 370,000 children. On May 23rd, we are anticipating that benefits will go out to 320,000 children. So the large majority of the summer EBT benefits that we issue do go out through that automatic eligibility by participating in these programs here. All right. And another way that families can become eligible for summer EBT is by application. So the eligibility requirements by application are if the household meets the income requirements for free or reduced price meals at their school, and their child does need to attend a school that participates in the National School Lunch Program or School Breakfast Program. And that income requirement is also that their household income is under 185% of the federal poverty level. There's a couple ways to apply. Paper applications are available year-round. They're available now, actually, on our website. We have an English version of the website and Spanish listed here. Families can go on there now or at any point to download a fillable PDF or printable paper application and can submit that to our email box. Our summer EBT policy team responds to those emails, and that email address is listed there, summerebtinfo@odhs.oregon.gov. And I can tell you, we're starting to see the influx. Naturally, during the winter months, that email box is pretty quiet, and we're starting to see quite a few applications and address updates coming in. So families are certainly getting ready for the program to launch as well. And then alternatively, if families want to apply online, that application portal for online applications is going to launch on May 30th of this year. So if you go onto the website now, you're not going to see an online application or a link to an online portal. But come the morning of May 30th, that portal will be live and families can go on to apply with a quick online application or go on to manage their benefits, update their address through that portal beginning May 30th. And families have through September 3rd to apply. So while the paper application is available year-round, for the 2025 summer EBT program, we are accepting applications for this period through September 3rd. So Again, if a family wants to apply now, they can do so by paper, and then the online portal beginning May 30th through the end of day September 3rd. And if a family if their children, their school age children are eligible by application, they will receive a decision notice within 15 days of applying. I should say we're going to begin processing all of these applications, even those paper applications we've been holding, beginning on May 30th. So a decision will be made within 15 days of that May 30th date, or 15 days if they apply at any point during the summer. And how you can reach us. So it's not quite open yet, but beginning Monday, May 19th, just before our initial issuance, our summer EBT call center will be open. Folks taking live calls available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And this is a line that was very well utilized last year by many, many families. It's an opportunity for families to ask quick questions about their application status, ask about and begin the process to have a new card sent to them, an EBT card, general eligibility questions, questions about the program. We'll have folks able and ready to answer those. And it's the same phone number as last year, listed here, 1-833-673-7328. And our call center is able to support the languages that you see here. So knowing that we do have many families who speak a host of languages, we wanted to make sure that all lines of communication were able to support those languages too. Next, I mentioned our email address. This is a secondary way that families or partners, anyone really, can get a hold of us to ask questions. So as I had mentioned, the call center isn't going to be open until May 19th, but folks can email us if they have questions or want to submit those paper applications early. And I also have listed, not sure why on this slide, but our website again there for your information in English, sept.oregon.gov, and Spanish, ebtv.oregon.gov. And there hasn't been a whole lot of movement on that website in terms of launching 2025 language yet, but within the next couple weeks, we have quite a refresh of that page coming with all information related to the 2025 program. Finally, if a family wants to print out their paper application and submit it, we do have a PO box that they can mail it into. And we'll make sure to include this slide deck within the minutes so that you have all the information so you're not scrambling now to write it all down. Just a little snapshot of what our website looks like, the type of information that you can gather from there. But really, and in my last couple minutes here, what I wanted to draw your attention to is this slide. So our partners are a great resource for us to mobilize and get the word out to families about summer EBT. So a couple asks to help us in spreading the word would be, one, to share our flyer. So our flyer is available at our website now. Crystal, I believe, may be queued up to include it in the chat. I don't have the chat up. Yep, perfect. We have that available in English and Spanish. We'll also include that within the minutes. We would love for you to be able to share this with organizations you're connected with, businesses, or families that you're working with. Printing it, having it available for families, or sharing it out electronically. Letting families know that they can apply anytime by paper application now. That's available on our website, or online application beginning May 30th. And then if families do have a question, we would love for them to reach out to us by our email here, summerebtinfo@odhs.oregon.gov. Or if you have a question, think of a question, maybe get stumped by a question from a family that you'd like the answer to, we also encourage partners to reach out to us here too. And I believe that is it. The last thing I wanted to share is if you are out in the community this summer and you are sharing program information about your own programs, we would love for you to also include us, Summer EBT info, include the flyer to share with families too. Or if you have meetings that you'd like us to come present and share more about Summer EBT, myself as well as her name is Audra. She's also one of our outreach specialists on our team. We would love to see how we can be there and help to spread the message and tell you more or tell your groups about summer EBT. So let's see, my whole screen kind of went sideways. Let's see. I'm going to
So,
stop sharing so I can see everyone.
so, Catherine, there was a couple of questions, one of which you answered. Was there going to be the customer service line again this time around? Which
Yeah.
indeed there is. But Andy just posted a question about if family who were enrolled last year, are they automatically enrolled this time around?
Great question, Annie. Thank you. And I did miss that nuance of information. So if a family was approved by application last year, we will reuse their application and they will be approved automatically this year. I forgot to mention that as part of automatic eligibility. So if someone was approved by application last year, they will automatically receive this year. If they were not approved, we would encourage them to apply again this year to see if their income or other factors may make them eligible this year. Yeah, thank you, Annie. Any other initial questions for me? We'll make sure to include the slide deck and the flyers, all that info in the minutes too. Great, thank you.
Real
It was,
quick, not a question, but a comment. I just wanted to say that I know a lot of work went into getting this all up and running and all these things. And just looking at those numbers of quite frankly how many babies got fed, I just seriously thank you. Thank you. Thank the team. Thank everyone that was involved in getting that all up and running and still getting it moving and stuff. Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Crystal, thank you for saying that. You know, we actually have about half my team on the call, so I know that they
Oh,
heard.
good. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
It's a labor of love, and
Yes.
yes, thank you. That means the world to us. Appreciate that.
yeah, it was amazing. On time, under budget, very big success.
When did
Uh,
that happen?
I know, got to celebrate those things.
Yes.
But so thank you, Catherine, and the team for all the amazing work. And by the way, just want to say, if you're wondering what's going on, we did have to change the schedule around our agenda around a little bit since our the SSP leadership team couldn't make it this morning. We will make sure to get someone next month. But I do want to then turn over to our next speaker, who is on camera. I'm excited to have one of our partners, Transition Projects, here talk about the Rentwell statewide program. So Renee, take it away.
Hi. Actually, Caitlin will be presenting today,
Oh,
but I'll be watching the chat for any questions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin. I work with Renee over at the Rentwell program. So we wanted to give you a presentation today. I've got a few slides to share, so let's see if I can do that real quick. Go. Perfect. Thanks. All right. Some of you might already know about this program. It's a tenant education course. If not, this might be new information. Hopefully, each of you will get something new out of this and take away some info. So let's jump into it. What I want to talk about today is just kind of a basic introduction to what the tenant education course is, the benefits of it, how to register for the course. There's multiple different ways that individuals can get access to this course now, and then what our partnerships look like out in the community as well. So Rentwell has been around for some time here in the Portland metro area, but it has expanded across all of Oregon and into Washington as well. It's been around since 2009, and it was really based out of this idea of coming out of the housing crisis and the recession and seeing individuals who were struggling to get back into housing, who might have a few barriers, and just trying to get into those places. So a committee was formed with landlords, tenants, housing advocates, housing providers, government officials to figure out what is needed in this curriculum. We also had lovely agencies to bring together kind of knowledge pieces in that we both had landlord associations to provide documents into that. Fair Housing was a huge provider of insight in their legal aid resources, Community Alliance of Tenants. All of them came together to make a 15-hour tenant education course. So it is quite a lengthy piece. Usually people are doing this between 3 weeks to up to 12 weeks in length. It really depends on how they're taking the course. But that's the normal timeline in which they get all of those hours in there. The course itself is divided into 12 different sections, 70 minutes long. And it goes through everything from just what to expect in the course to starting a housing search, what that partnership between landlords and tenants should look like, fair housing, the screening process itself, what one might be screened for, then starting to see their own reports. We'll talk a little bit more about that in depth in just a moment, but we have access to sample screening reports from a community partner. So people really get to see what's possibly on their reports before they go apply for places. And then they work on their own housing portfolios. So getting documents together, getting those ready to provide to property managers. Those might be IDs, income statements, things like that. Working on budgeting, always my favorite topic, money. Getting them really excited about credit. Yay. Nobody ever likes those topics, but I get real stoked. Um, and then talking about the different housing options out there too. What's available? What does that look like? What's the difference between a housing voucher versus one that is specific to the property and or fair market rentals? What are the pros and cons of a long-term lease versus a short-term lease? And then them starting their own housing search. How is that first moment when they're going to meet somebody? What are they looking for when they go to see an apartment? It's enough to walk into a place and go, okay, four walls, ceiling, great, this meets my needs. But then if they move in and suddenly mushrooms are growing out of the wall, like there's some things where we can test on that ahead of time. Learning about what's in lease agreements. We can see things from lease agreements that are just a half a page handwritten notes to 53 pages of tiny font. So getting really good at reading what's in there and what's expected of them and what they can expect of their property managers. Enjoying their homes when it comes to asking for repairs. And then when it comes time to move out, how to do that in a professional manner that keeps their rental history so that they can move into another place, or what it might look like when they get a notice to vacate and how to remedy that. So that's kind of how the course is broken down one by one. Two places that I want to talk a little bit more about are the reports and also that housing portfolio. So like I was saying, we work with a local company to provide those sample screens to our students, and they're able to see what's possibly on their criminal, credit, and civil backgrounds so that they know ahead of time because it's already hard enough to hear no, let alone apply and pay money to hear no. So it's a very good idea to get this ahead of time, know what might be there, start removing barriers that aren't working for them, or just start figuring out what they can do to kind of talk about what those barriers were in the past and what they've done since then. And one of the ways that they can do that is then start their own housing portfolio. So not only are the students required to go through all 15 hours of the course, they also have to come out the other side with this housing portfolio. In it, they would have a sample rental application that they've filled out so they don't have to remember where they lived 5 years ago and who the landlord was and what their number was. Copies of their ID, income documents. They'll create their own housing portfolio cover letter. This is a letter that says, you might see on my background these things. However, let me tell you about what happened and where I am now. And then they'll have reference letters from other agencies too. So some of you might have already been asked to do some of these reference letters in the past. And then any additional documents that they might want to add. Sometimes this is reasonable accommodation documents. Sometimes this looks like if they paid off a previous debt and they want to showcase the receipts in there. And then at the end, they get this lovely certificate from us that they can take to future landlords. The certificate itself is really nice because not only does it showcase that they've done all of this work and they've learned through this process, but it is also paired with a guarantee fund. So back in 2017, we worked with the state to pair it with this statewide guarantee that allows us to use funds to help incentivize property managers who might be on the fence renting to individuals who have barriers to be more willing to rent to them. And what that specifically would say is that if a landlord is willing to work with one of our graduates, then at the time of move-in, they can register the guarantee. And if in the first year of tenancy, the graduate moves out, whether that is their own choice or the landlord has requested them to, then the landlord can recoup up to $5,000 in debts beyond the security deposit. This could be for normal wear and tear, property damage, past due rent, eviction costs, any of those are covered in that. Now I have a fun fact for you. So remember, I said that we passed this in 2017. We have had over 4,000, almost, honestly, we're almost at 45,000 graduates as of earlier today, is when I put in the numbers. How many of those graduates do you think have had to utilize that fund so far? Anybody want to make guesses?
I actually bet not a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, I like it. Oh, I don't have the chat up if anybody is saying anything in the chat. Ah.
We have 1,000. None, 22, and 7.
Ooh, 13. Yep. So we've got only 13 out of that entire span have had to use that. Um, and so it is really exciting. It's one of those things that definitely brings people to the class. They like the idea of having that guarantee behind them, but clearly it's one that they don't actually need to use that often. It's the course itself that provides more of that basis, but it's nice to have it there. There are some do's and don'ts with the class, just to remind people of kind of expectations with it. So it can't guarantee housing is the one big thing, and it can't undo how any barriers that one might previously have, but it can teach people all that they need to know about landlord to tenant law. It gives them a really good basis. These are not necessarily things that people learn in high school just yet. Um, but it gives them a pretty solid understanding of what to expect in that landlord-tenant relationship. Like I was saying before, the course itself is 15 hours. It is now in 3 different ways that one can do this. We work with community partners to provide in-person classes at their agencies. They can also do it on Zoom with an instructor, or we now have an online e-course available too in 7 different languages free of charge. The e-course itself, just so people know, it has to be specific to Oregon residents because it's through the Oregon funds that helped create it. Individuals have to be below 60% area median income, and they have to at least identify that they've had one barrier to housing when they do their assessment. It's free of charge. Anyone can apply for it. And they can go onto our website and do this. And I will also make sure that you get the slides too, so that you have all of this info. And then we also give them about the 12 weeks in order to do this. So it's about 90 days. And they get to go through all 12 sections. They'll have a support specialist on the back end, so they're not alone. They've got staff members helping them through it. For the in-person classes, we work with those other agencies to train their staff members to do this. Those costs can depend. A lot of those agencies are using their own funding sources and working with their own participants to do these courses. So a lot of the times they'll see that, but there are a few public classes that happen, and we do advertise those on our website. So you will see those across the state. So you can always go there and check those out. And then we offer educator track. So anybody at an agency who does want to become an instructor can. And we also offer kind of a just a personal trained professional track, or one for case managers who might want to learn more about housing but don't necessarily want to teach the course at all, but want to use this in kind of one-on-one development. This is the differences between those. These ones, unfortunately, are not free of charge. The state hasn't paid for that just yet. Um, the professional development, like I was saying, this is really based for case managers who want to use this on one-on-one basis with clients, work through kind of these one-on-one situations, use some of this information to support individuals where the certified instructors would be working in a classroom setting at their agency and then graduating people and providing them with those certificates. So slightly different. The certified instructors too also have to be paired with one of our partner agencies. Right now, we are close to about 300 partner agencies between Oregon and Washington. And some of the benefits of that is just empowering individuals to know their rights, understanding their housing searches, access to the curriculum, and all of our additional resources. We have, I think we're up to like 700 different resources available. And then they also get to be instructors and have a certificate provided to them too. Ooh, so that's kind of the end of my little chat with you. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. I know that I was speeding through, but I wanted to make sure that you had time for the rest of your meeting.
I don't don't see any questions in the chat. Where does the funding for this come from?
It is through the Oregon Housing and Community Services. That's where we get this from. Mhm.
And I'm sorry, you just expanded it statewide?
Expanded statewide back in 2017 when we got the statewide. Uh-huh. Yep. We didn't get the e-course up and running until 2021. So that's when we started seeing the e-course go live across. So it's been a nice journey to see it moving through.
Does anyone here have experience working with Rentwell or questions?
I just want to say, like in my previous role as a family coach with self-sufficiency, I referred quite a few folks to, went rent well, programs. And I just have to say, I mean, it's a game changer. It really is. And it's so incredible that it's reaching more and more people. And one former client, like in particular, really stands out to me because we're talking, I mean, generationally here of those barriers and again, let's be real, the things they don't teach us in high school, okay? Like and it really does, like, finally when somebody like gets to a place where it's like, oh, okay, I really want to move my life forward and I really, want to do all these things. And this person in particular, oh my goodness, like was stuck, living with, relatives or, in other situations that are not ideal. And everyone deserves to have that home to themselves, to make it their own and all those things. And without programs like this, so many folks are walking around feeling so defeated. Like there's no solution. Like they are stuck like this for the rest of their lives. Like they can't take back everything that, went wrong previously. And so it's like this program in itself, like it's not just like giving the pathway, but it's also giving hope back to people. Like that, like okay, see, like I can turn it around and like I can get there and I can get my home again and I can do the things and but also that there are people within the organization, these landlords, all these people that see them, for, that's like we all have made mistakes. We all have, but it's just like we can do better, and so having folks in the community like yourselves and the partners that work with and stuff that believe in people and see people for who they can be and all those things like this, thank y'all so much. It is absolutely an amazing thing for this community.
Thank you so much for saying that. We've had a lot of graduates like reach out and say, wow, like I finally have the confidence to apply and do these things that I never thought were possible. So, yeah, it is a game changer.
Mhm.
Yeah, couldn't have said that better. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I'm feeling embarrassed because I didn't know much of anything about it, so I'm really excited to learn more. And thank you for coming here and thank you for your work. And it's good to hear 211 sending people your way as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. So, and if don't be afraid, anyone of reaching out if you have subsequent questions. We have a little bit of time left, agenda shift. I'll say that if anyone has an announcement to make, please let us know. If you work at the legislature, I know I actually went over there this morning. It is a little bit of a ghost town because the legislative deadline, the big one, just passed, and so everyone is taking a breath, I think. But the legislators are in 2 floor sessions today, so they get to work on the backlog of bills that the committees have all cranked out. But many bills are dead. I don't know if anyone wants to give a postmortem on any bills, but in any case, it's we're sort of at that midpoint, and pretty soon the attention will be shifting to budgets, which I know are a concern for many people here. But, and I'm just sort of talking, letting people have an opportunity to raise their hand or comment. So feel free to. I'll say one other thing. I just got access to cool data, and I can tell you at this moment, there are in the one eligibility queue right now, there's only 3 people waiting. So an estimated wait time of 30 seconds right now. If you want to talk, if some client or someone wants to talk to an eligibility worker, yes, I know, shocking, but we have not seen the long wait times in the last few months. So just keep that in mind. And while I spoke, there's only one person now in the queue. So I now, see, now I just want to give play by play the whole time. But in any case, if if anyone has anything else to share, feel free. I will pause.
Or if you have any suggestions for future meeting agenda topics. I know that Crystal will include a link in the minutes that go out, but even if you have any to throw in the chat, we're all ears and eyes on that.
So I want to thank all of you for your work with people of Oregon, and we won't keep you any longer than you have to. But yeah, please use that evaluation form and let us know some ideas and what we can be doing better.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Thanks, everyone.